our Morning Throners podcast.
I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Glow.
And I'm Kyle.
We're the fucking Morning Throners.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast on any podcast platform out there, and that is the Morning Throners. We're talking Arya.
Whoop, whoop.
Again, I don't know what number we're on. I'm way past knowing what number. This is only Arya 2, though, because I just
Arya
got
2.
a little hand gesture from Nelson. But we'll set the setting real quick, and we'll get going. Say hi to Kyle, Nelson, Glow.
What's up, boys? Or people?
We're in King's Landing. The first scene starts at, I'm going to say, a dinner table.
In this small
sounds
hall.
like it's dinner time. Yep, in the small hall where only the Stark men and women and family members are eating.
But it fits
so.
like 200 people, right?
Yeah,
Like
not,
it's,
the
Yeah,
not
it
so
sounds
small.
like
it's
small
relatively
hall.
small hall.
It's not so small hall.
The not
It's
so
only
small
the
hall.
small hall because the Great Hall can fit thousands.
Yeah, exactly.
This place can fit like
Yep.
200. But we've got about 50 Stark men and women, I think, or maybe just men of the guard is 50. Arya, Sansa, Gene Poole, Septa Mordain,
Yep.
and then Ned walks in late as he has been, and Arya is a little. You can see he's a little upset just from fighting with the council all day. So
Constantly fighting with the council.
So does this say that he? So you're right. It only has 50 men, but he only brought like 50 men, right?
yeah, I
think
mean, it
so,
sounds
yeah.
like that was the personal guard he brought with him.
It's like everybody who isn't like guarding something currently is here eating right now.
That's what I
But they
believe.
said normally that's not how like they have most of their meals. They said normally it's just Ned and Arya and Sansa and maybe Septa in Ned's chambers.
Yeah, which just think like how big is Ned's chamber? He's got to have like a whole living room,
Yeah,
Oh, it's
family
probably
room,
gigantic.
bedroom, right?
yeah.
For sure.
Because they say his like solar, which I think means like his like living room, right? That's what solar
It's-
is.
Yeah, I mean it's got to be.
I would think of it more of a study.
Yeah, whatever. It's not where
That's-
he's fucking sleeps.
That's probably
They're not-
where his
they're not-
TV is.
They're not all cross-leg on Ned's bed like
It's not where he's gonna bang
TV
Catelyn if
dinners.
she visits again.
Do you think John Aaron was fighting with the council as much?
Probably right because
Do you think he was as worn out as these guys are, or as Ned is?
in
I
the
mean, that's
last
one
chapter,
thing. Like,
Ned
John's
says
such
like he says like I can't believe Ned like when they're talking about how they're in debt. He's like I can't believe John would let Robert bankrupt the realm. So he seems like a pretty. At least Ned seems to think he's a pretty like
Honorable.
level-headed guy,
Yeah,
like smart.
but he's so much older. He's probably just like worn down. Like, all right, Robert, like go bang that girl. Go spend the money. Like I'm tired. Like at some point, you gotta let the kids do what the kids are gonna do.
Yeah, I guess Ned. It's like that thing like when you're like new at work, you're like all motivated, and then after like a year, it just like wears you down. You're like, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna work my 8 hours and go home.
For sure.
So the main part of this like dinner is Jory brings up the tournament, and Sansa gets all like horned up for it. She's like, oh my god, it'll be so beautiful and gallant, and it'll be perfect. It'll be such a wonderful day.
She's the worst.
I get to
Shut the
sit with
fuck up,
Joffrey.
Yeah. How does she like?
Joffrey's gonna be there. It's gonna be awesome.
Is she excited about that? Because I guess we haven't had another Sansa chapter since the whole Joffrey thing, and we know how Arya feels about it after this chapter. But Sansa has to be pissed at Joffrey at this point now that Lady's dead.
No way.
I mean,
Even though Lady's dead, you don't think
I feel
so?
like she's gotten over that to a fact, just because now she's living the life she's always wanted to live.
Yeah.
She's
Minus
blaming
Lady.
She's blaming Arya for Lady as well. I don't
That's
think
very
she's
true, yeah.
putting that on Joffrey. I think she's still pumped to get married to Joffrey.
Yeah. So when Sansa first asked Ned, like, "Oh, can we go to this tournament?" He's like, Robert can make me hold this stupid thing, but he can't make me subject my family to it.
He's like, fuck that, you're not going.
And who says it? Someone says, "Oh, Septa Mordain points out
That Princess Marcella, right?
I think Marcella.
Marcella.
Marcella's younger. It's expected of the high ladies to be there, especially when it's Ned's. It's in Ned's name. It's Ned's
gonna be-
Yeah, you got to bring your family. to
And
this
what they
event,
said, it's
yeah.
gonna be queer if she doesn't go.
be very queer,
yes."
not like gay, but like queer, like weird.
Clarifying.
You've just made it.
Thank you
You've
for
just pushed it
clarifying.
past. I think.
Yeah,
you.
we
No,
were
thank you.
fine.
I
we were
appreciate
doing
it.
okay.
No, I
and then
appreciate
it just
it. It was
went,
in the text. I just feel anytime queer is in the text, I feel like you have to clarify, like, hey, we're not homophobes here. It's what they say.
You gotta cut this part
It's the
out.
other meaning.
This is like, I'm not racist. I have a black friend. It's about how they said it. You can't.
Some of that's getting cut out for sure.
I hope all of it.
Not a
So-
sense.
So Ned, he's like, yeah, fine. Like, you can come up. Like, I'll find a place. I'll find a place for both of you guys. And Arya's like, I don't want to go to this stupid tournament. And she's thinking, like, Joffrey's gonna be there. Like, I hate Joffrey. Like, I don't want to be there at all. And what does Sansa say?
No one would
It's
want
like-
you there anyway,
Yeah. No one wants you.
bitch.
She
Why?
said it in a bitchier way though.
Why would no one want Arya at the tournament?
Because she's a cunt.
I think Sansa says, like, it's gonna be a splendid
Yeah,
affair.
because she's not
You're,
prim
like,
and proper.
The opposite of that.
Yeah, she's.
It will be a splendid event in Italices. You shan't be wanted.
You shan't be wanted.
Because she's just everything not splendid, I guess. In
What's the
Sansa's
age?
eyes.
So Arya's 9. Let me see something. real
I
quick.
think she's 12, right? Sansa's got to be 12.
Sansa's 11. It's what my notes say. She might have.
Yeah,
her
but
birthday.
her name day is coming up.
Yeah, it might have already happened.
Her name day's coming up.
You like that?
2 years
bro?
apart. I guess this is just like normal bickering.
Yeah, no, I mean, especially, I mean, I had a younger sister, so it's not like I had a younger brother but I had a cousin, and he had an older brother, and he just beat the shit out of him sometimes just because it was time. But then we also played, like, Madden and basketball with him, like, it was like either one or the other.
Boys will be boys. It's different.
Boys will be boys, but girls will also be cunts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They
but
just hate
like,
each other.
I mean,
girls are just bitches.
My sisters used to fight, but they would fucking be able to hang
Play
out.
play dolls and shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And they're
Yeah, but
both
I guess-
teenage
They never-
girls.
your sister or like my cousin never got the other person's dog killed.
That's true. That's very
And
true.
also, like, your sisters can play dolls together because they both like playing dolls. I'm sure Sansa's like, "Hey, Arya, let's
Yeah,
play
that's
dolls,"
true.
and Arya's like, "Go fuck yourself. Let's play swords or something." you
Right.
know?
If we had a tomboy cousin, she'd want to be playing basketball and football and shit with us, not dress up and makeup.
True that.
Yeah. So when Arya and Sansa have this little like yelling match, Ned tells her yells and tells everyone to be quiet, and then he's like, everyone in the hall gets quiet, and he's like, "Oh, I'm not hungry. I'm getting out of here."
I'm
And
piecing.
he
It's too
dips.
awkward. I'm getting
Well, and
out.
his kids are fighting, and he's just had it. He's done dealing with other people's problems. Is what's going on
Exactly.
there.
He's got too much shit to deal with. He doesn't feel like dealing with this. Set
This
them
is where
more
the
dating.
chapter-
Keep them in line.
This is where the chapter gets like real. Like, there's a couple times in the chapter where you just like feel real bad for Arya, and this is one of them. She's like thinking like, I have no friends. I missed all the people who I got along with. My family were my brothers. I'm stuck here with Sansa and Septa Mordain, who are like the people I hated most from Winterfell. I've got like she just has no one.
My
to talk
one
to.
friend I did have got
He's fucking
stomped.
killed.
She even goes through the why she doesn't like the Stark people anymore.
Yeah, she
like
thought-
that they
Stuck
just
up
sat
for
around
her
and did nothing when, like, they killed Lady, they let Micah just get butchered by the Hound, and they just all sat around and did nothing. Not
Yeah.
the honorable men that she thought they were.
The veil
I have a
has
quote, it
been
might be-
lifted.
Yeah, I have a quote. It might be what you were just saying, Jeff. So I'll read it real quick. It's not a dialogue, so I'll read it. Back at Winterfell, they had eaten in the Great Hall almost half the time. Her father used to say that a lord needed to eat with his men if he hoped to keep them. Know
Great
the men who
line.
follow
Great
you.
line, by the way.
It
Sorry.
is. Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
If you're a fucking leader, take notes.
Know the men who follow you, she heard him tell Robb once, and let them know you. Don't ask men to die for a stranger. At Winterfell, he had always had an extra seat at his own table, and every day a different man would be asked to join him. One night it would be Vaon Poole, and they would talk of coppers and bread stores and servants. The next time it would be Micken, and her father would listen to him go on about armor and swords and how hot a forge should be and the best way to temper steel. Another day it might be Hullen and his endless horse talk, or Septon Shale from the library, or Jory, or Sir Roderick, or even Old Nan with her stories. Arya had loved nothing better than to sit at her father's table and listen to them talk. She had loved listening to the men on the benches too. The free riders, tough as leather, courtly knights and bold young squires, grizzled old men-at-arms. She used to throw snowballs at them and help them steal pies from the kitchen. Their wives gave her scones, and she invented names for their babies and played monsters and maidens and hide the treasure and come into
pickle.
my castle with their children. That Tom used to call her Arya Underfoot because that's where she always was. She liked that a lot better than Arya Horseface. Only that was Winterfell, a world away, and now everything was changed. This was the first time they had slept with the men since arriving at King's Landing. Arya hated it. She hated the sounds of their voices now. The way they laughed, the stories they told. They'd been her friends. She'd felt safe around them. But now she knew that was a lie. They'd let the queen kill Lady. That was horrible enough. But then the hound found Micah. Jane Poole had told Arya that he'd cut him up in so many pieces that he'd given him back to the butcher in a bag. At first, the poor man had thought it was a pig they'd slaughtered. And no one had raised a voice or drawn a blade or anything. Not Harwin, who always talked so bold, or Alan, who was going to be a knight, or Jory, who was captain of the guard. Not even her father. He was my friend, Arya whispered into her plate. This is just like, nobody gives a fuck about Arya, and like, or about Micah, and we're gonna hear about like a lot of people dying throughout all these books, right? And Micah is like the minorest of minor characters at this point, right? I think he's in like 2 paragraphs alive in this book, right? But you can just tell, like, it's Arya, like we were saying earlier, it's Arya's only friend. Even the people who are at this, like, it seems like even her father doesn't realize how close, and again, they weren't that close, but we find out later Arya feels personally responsible for all this because she was the one who asked him to do this.
Yeah.
And just like, it's just like a horrible, I don't know. Like, I can't imagine like this being you and like one of your like friends died. Even
as
if
a
it's
9-year-old,
just nobody gives a fuck, right? And all the people around you are like claiming to be like super
when
honorable.
it comes back to it, it was the butcher's boy, and these guys she's a lady of Winterfell, and
they've all seen death already too. Most of them, I'm sure, at this point, like large quantities of it. She's 9 or whatever, so she hasn't. This is impactful.
Harwin doesn't give a shit about this.
Especially
the first person that she's cared about, really, that's died, probably.
Yeah, and when Ned, in the chapter when Ned sees the Hound ride up with Micah's dead body, Ned is like pissed about it, but it's like, what can you do, right? Like he's not the head honcho anymore. Arya's used to her dad being in charge when he makes like the honorable decision most of the time, and that's not what happens anymore. Ned's not in charge, right? It doesn't matter if this pisses Ned off. He's not the one calling the shots.
So it's also kind of fucked up. They gave him back in a bag to the butcher. Like, why didn't they just bury him somewhere?
And like, is that true? And like,
I don't know if that's actually true though. Yeah,
maybe because that's just something Jane Poole
Yeah.
said to Arya. So maybe she was just being a bitch. So like, we don't know if it's
true.
When we saw him, Ned said that he had been slashed from like
cleaved in half,
belly
pretty
button.
much. Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of work to cut a kid up into a bunch of little pieces.
Well, maybe they did it so they could bring him along easily. I don't know.
I mean, I assume.
Was he really chopped up? This is a rumor. This is Jane Poole spreading a rumor. She wasn't there. She didn't see the dead body get fucking delivered to. I mean,
she was. Yeah, she didn't see it get delivered, but she was. Like,
it's all a word. It's all a word from a word from a word.
So this is a what do they call that? An
hearsay.
No, an something narrator. An unreliable narrator. There you go.
George R. R. Martin loves unreliable narrators.
Okay.
That's all this book's about.
Yeah.
It's all unreliable.
So after this, Arya's getting in her head and she's getting real sad and she feels like she's like holding back tears. So she's like, I'm out.
I'm not hungry anymore.
And Septa's like, nah, you gotta finish your food.
You barely touched your date. Clean your plate, Nelson. Clean your fucking
plate.
I'm in the clean plate club every friggin' night. You don't get a gut like this without cleaning your plate.
That's true.
Clean plate gang.
Arya dips. She runs down the hall. Septa's yelling after her. She gets
the best part is she does the old nutmeg through Fat Tom's legs.
Oh yeah.
Fat Tom again. There's a part here coming up, and I don't know. I can't believe Fat Tom is really as stupid as Arya thinks he is.
No,
he can't be.
Not
or he's
I know.
Or he's not. Yeah, I mean, he left because he didn't give a fuck.
He's like, all right, I don't feel like.
So we're talking about when she gets into her room and she closes the door and he's like, knock, knock, knock. It's like, Arya, come out, and she doesn't say anything. Like, are you in there? And she's like, no, and then he just like walks away.
Yeah,
it's like what? Like,
no,
there's no.
He
was like
going
there
to get for a second. He's like, all right, I'm not opening this.
Yeah, he's like, there's no point.
The thing I've got is Arya slides, and she's on stone. It's not like she's on smooth marble or some bullshit. She's going baseball slide on her knees.
It's rushes. There's rushes. This is why we talk about the rushes last chapter. If there's hay there...
No, bullshit. It says she's running, because right as she gets up, You could hear her feet on the stones. I'll find the.
Well, she's going upstairs at that point, right?
Nah, come on, man. We're at the King's Landing. We're not in Winterfell. There's no rushes in the small hall.
I was just say, I think that was our discussion last time, was how this place didn't have rushes.
Well, in the council chamber, Ned is like walks in and he's like, "There's no rushes. There was a fancy carpet."
I got it. But Arya slid between his legs and she was running up the winding.
See, she's going up the stairs.
There's no difference between the stairs and the fucking floor. Let's be serious. Come on.
She felt hammering on the stone while Fat Tom huffed and puffed behind her. I guess it's the stairs.
All right, so she gets up to her room, closes the door. She got a big old lock on it. She locks it, and she starts crying. And Sansa and Jane, we touched it earlier, have been telling her like, all this is your fault. Lady died because of you. Micah died because of you. Like everything that happened is all your fault. And
Bran fell because of you.
She believes it, and it's not. They're not wrong.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
like, there's definitely other people that had something to do with this, right? Like the Hound and the Queen and all these people.
It's not her fault. She's a fucking 9-year-old girl.
It all happening.
She's a little 9-year-old kid. It's not
but
her
if
fault.
Sansa
if you think about it,
did speak up, this wouldn't have happened.
That's not her fault. She didn't do anything wrong, Nelson.
But
no,
if she
did.
If she wouldn't have asked Micah to fight at all,
what did she do wrong?
I'm not saying it's wrong, but if she wouldn't have asked Micah to fight, to like practice swords with her,
she's fucking kid. Trying to kill some time, dude.
I'm with you. I like Arya, and I'm not saying she's in the wrong.
It's not that I like her.
She could have taken steps to prevent this. If she would have been a nice lady like she was supposed to be and been doing needlework
but
instead
that's
of
not
sword
who
fighting,
she is.
I agree, and that's what makes her awesome. But
even if she said like sorry to Joffrey and him and Micah just like ran away, they could have done it differently. I'm not saying they still would have killed him, but
I don't know. Joffrey was acting like a fucking sociopath.
Yeah, he had the wine. He was drinking wine.
But her actions didn't help Micah either. I don't care if she's 9, 15, 25.
I don't know about that, because they're like when Joffrey comes up, he like literally puts a sword on Micah's face.
I agree, and she's also like, I'm gonna fucking kill you or get off of him. He's my friend.
Well, she like saves it at that point.
She whacks him in the back of the head. She didn't say anything.
Is Joffrey actually gonna kill him? Let's be serious.
Maybe.
Joffrey's a little
pretty fucking.
I didn't know where I don't know where else that goes. Like Micah wasn't gonna start fighting him with a stick.
He doesn't have the balls.
All right, doesn't matter. The thing is, like, there's kind of
it's Arya's fault.
It's not her fault.
It's not her fault, but there's some understanding why she could believe it's her fault, right? How about that, Kyle?
I mean, I see why she's misconstruing this situation as her fault. Yes.
There we go.
So
nice political answer.
I'll take it.
What a great political answer.
But it's not her fault. I just want you to move on.
All right, I'll take it.
In a court of law, it might not be her fault, but.
All right, so next thing, Septa comes up.
She's a child.
Same thing as Fat Tom. Septa starts pounding on the door.
We'll try her as a minor. I don't know. All right,
she whips out her sword.
Septa comes up, starts banging on the door. Arya's like, "Go away." She's like, "The Hand will hear of this." And then Arya just like goes to the window and is like, "If I was Bran, I could climb out of here and run away."
Mm-hmm. Steal some food from the kitchen.
Go find Nymeria and go back to Winterfell.
Get her good boots on.
This is so then Ned shows up surprisingly quick. Like, I guess she was sitting in that window for a while, but like Ned's here.
Well, I mean, he probably didn't go that far, right? I mean, he was just
yeah, you're right. He probably went to his room. So
it's probably like just upstairs.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it can't be that far.
So what first happens when Ned comes in? I have a quote here for like the second half of this.
She's got needle in her hand. Yeah,
needle.
And she says when he comes in, he looks more sad than he is angry. Right, like you can tell Ned's just defeated, right? Like he's trying to work with these fucking council people to get them to do like not stupid shit, to try and get Robert figured out, and he's dealing with all that shit during the day, and he comes home and he just wants like some peace and quiet, and his goddamn kids are at each other's throats all the time, you know? And like it's not that he's mad at Arya, he's just like fucking.
I thought he felt sad for her.
I think it's a combination of everything. He's tired of fighting with everybody.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any reprieve of like going to the God's Wood and just like thinking. he doesn't have all of his family. He doesn't have the North. He's
he's also sad that his daughters are always fighting and like
his daughters are at each other's throat. Yeah, it's just his best friend's actually an asshole.
So and this is when he sees the sword for the first time.
Yes.
And he takes it from her and he looks at it. He's like, "How the hell did you get this?" And he sees it has Mickens' mark, who's the smith in Winterfell. And he's like, "How the hell did my 9-year-old daughter become armed from my own armory?"
And I didn't
without
know.
me knowing about it.
And I'm supposed to be in charge of the city.
And Arya is like, just silent. He's like, pleading the fifth. I'm not gonna rat
Can't
out
tell
Jon.
on Jon, yeah.
Yeah. So she just like literally says nothing until Ned's like, I guess it doesn't fucking matter anyway.
That's the most impressive thing about the 9-year-old is that she doesn't rat.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, that just shows how much she loves Jon.
Yeah.
I think anybody else, and she might have ratted on him. I think Jon was part of it.
I think if Sansa gave it to her,
she would have stabbed Sansa with it by now.
Yeah, it'd be a different story for sure.
Sold out.
But it's not like he's gonna get in trouble. What's he gonna do? Send him to the wall?
Well, this is.
That's a good point.
Ice. He could introduce him to ice.
That's true. Needle and ice.
Yeah.
Oh, Jon.
Yeah.
Jon to ice. So Ned says like, "This is no toy for kids, especially not a girl. Like, what would Septa say if she saw you with this thing?" And
she's
Arya's like, "I fucking hate Septa.
Yeah, fuck that
like,
bitch.
fuck that bitch." and she's like, and 2, I wasn't fucking playing. Like, I'm fucking a goat.
Training.
So she's like, she's talking herself up.
Do you even know how to use this thing?
Ned makes a great point. He's like, you got to be nicer to Septa. He's like, we gave her the job of teaching you to be a lady, and you're making that job fucking impossible. Like, yeah, you're making her life miserable, basically, which is true. From our point of view, Septa seems like a fucking
bitch, but yeah,
old,
she's
cranky
just doing what she's supposed
teacher,
to do.
But she's trying to do her job.
Yeah, the king tasked her with taking care of his daughter.
Did we get much of a view of Septa from Sansa's eyes? Like, she doesn't really comment anything about Septa. Like
the Sansa chapter we have, Septa, like they're having breakfast together, and Septa's just like, go make sure Arya's cleaned up. Yeah, she's like praising her and like, go make sure your sister is ready to ride in the wheelhouse,
so she probably likes her like a teacher's pet type deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, she's obviously the better of the two, in terms of Septa's opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And so then Ned's like, I should snap this sword over my knee. And this is where the quote I have starts up. So who's Arya? Who's Ned?
I'll be Arya. Glove's got a great Ned voice.
Yeah.
That's his only
voice.
I'll be narrator.
I hate that joke. I gotta broaden my horizon, guys.
All right, so let's start at needle wouldn't break.
Let's start the line beforehand.
Okay.
Before that.
I ought to snap this toy across my knee here and now and put an end to this nonsense.
Needle wouldn't break,
Arya said defiantly, but her voice betrayed her words.
It has a name, does it?
Her father sighed.
Ah, Arya, you have a wildness in you, child. The wolf's blood, my father used to call it. Lyanna had a touch of it, and my brother Brandon more than a touch. It brought them both to an early grave.
Arya heard sadness in his voice. He did not often speak of his father, or of the brother and sister who had died before she was born.
Lyanna might have carried a sword, if my father had allowed it. You remind me of her sometimes. You even look like her.
Lyanna was beautiful,
Arya said, startled. Everyone said so. It was not a thing that was ever said of Arya.
She was.
Eddard Stark agreed.
Beautiful and willful, and dead before her time.
He lifted the sword, held it out between them.
Arya, what do you think to do with this needle? Who did you hope to skewer? Your sister, Septa Mordain? Do you know the first thing about sword fighting?
All she could think was the lesson that Jon had given her.
Stick them with the pointy end,
she blurted out. Her father snorted back laughter.
That is the essence of it, I suppose.
Arya desperately wanted to explain, to make him see.
I was trying to learn, but...
Her eyes filled with tears.
I asked Micah to practice with me.
The grief came on her all at once. She turned away, shaking.
I asked him.
She cried.
It was my fault. It was me.
Suddenly, her father's arms were around her. He held her gently as she turned to him and sobbed against his chest.
No, sweet one,
he murmured.
Grieve for your friend, but never blame yourself. You did not kill the butcher's boy. That murder lies at the hound's dorm. Him and the cruel woman he serves.
I hate them,
Arya confided, red face sniffling.
The hound, and the queen, and the king, and Prince Joffrey. I hate all of them. Joffrey lied. It wasn't the way he said. I hate Sansa too. She did remember. She just lied so Joffrey would like her.
We all lie,
her father said.
Or did you truly think I'd believe that Nymeria ran off?
Arya blushed guiltily.
Jory promised not to tell.
Jory kept his word,
her father said with a smile.
There's some things that do not need to be told. Even a blind man could see that wolf would never have left you willingly.
We had to throw rocks,
she said miserably.
I told her to run, to go be free, that I didn't want her anymore. There were other wolves for her to play with. We heard them howling, and Jory said the woods were full of game, so she'd have deer to hunt. Only she kept following, and finally we had to throw rocks. I hit her twice. She whined and looked at me, and I felt so shamed. But it was right, wasn't it? The queen would have killed her.
It was right,
her father said.
And even the lie was not without honor.
He put Needle aside when he went to Arya to embrace her. Now he took the blade up again and walked to the window, where he stood for a moment, looking out across the courtyard. When he turned back, his eyes were thoughtful. He seated himself on the window seat, Needle across his lap.
Arya, sit down. I need to try and explain some things to you.
She perched anxiously on the edge of her bed.
You are too young to be burdened with all my cares,
he told her.
But you are also a Stark of Winterfell. You know our words.
Winter is coming,
Arya whispered.
The hard, cruel times,
her father said.
We tasted them on the Trident Child, and when Bran fell. You were born in the long summer, sweet one. You've never known anything else, but now the winter is truly coming. Remember the sigil of our house, Arya.
The direwolf,
she said, thinking of Nymeria. She hugged her knees against her chest, suddenly afraid.
Let me tell you something about wolves, child. When the snows fall and the white winds blow, the lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. Summer is the time for squabbles. In winter, we must protect one another, keep each other warm, share our strengths. So if you must hate Arya, hate those who would truly do us harm. Septa Mordane is a good woman, and Sansa? Sansa is your sister. You may be as different as the sun and the moon, but the same blood flows through both your hearts. You need her as she needs you, and I need both of you. God's help me.
He sounded so tired that it made Arya sad.
I don't hate Sansa,
she told him.
Not truly.
It was only half a lie.
I do not mean to frighten you, but neither will I lie to you. We have come to a dark, dangerous place, child. This is not Winterfell. We have enemies who mean us ill. We cannot fight to war among ourselves. This willfulness of yours, the running off, the angry words, the disobedience. At home, these are only summer games of a child. Here and now, with winter soon upon us, that is a different matter. It is time to begin growing up.
I will,
Arya vowed. She had never loved him so much as she did in that instant.
I can be strong too. I can be as strong as Rob.
He held Needle out to her, hilt first.
Here.
She looked at the sword with wonder in her eyes. For a moment she was afraid to touch it, afraid that if she reached for it, it would be snatched away again. But then her father said,
Go on, it's yours.
And she took it in her hand.
I can keep it?
She said.
For true?
For true.
He smiled.
If I took it away, no doubt I'd find a morning star hidden under your pillow within the fortnight. Try not to stab your sister, whatever the provocation.
Alright, there you go. That was a long one. That's probably the longest quote we've ever done.
Alright, so our podcast is also doubling as an audiobook.
Jesus Christ. How long was that? What was it? Is that a page and a half? What? That's not that bad.
Holy, 2 pages.
That's not 2 full pages, was it?
It's pretty fucking close. There's a lot of good lines in it for sure.
The thing is, I had the quote at the beginning and then the end, and I was just missing like a paragraph in the middle. So I was like, fuck it. So I just extended it throughout the middle. So it starts off with him comparing Arya to Lyanna, and how first off the thing that jumps out to Arya about like the comparison is the
Lyanna's sexy AF, bro.
Yeah. Which is kind of
how hot was Lyanna?
It's kind of sad that Arya like
is a 9-year-old that tings she's ugly.
Yeah, it's so fucked up.
Yeah.
But like he's more talking about like the willfulness. He says they kind of look the same too, but
I
he's
mean,
talking about,
she's
like,
Arya Horseface, so what else would she think of herself?
Wait, I gotta go back just a second. What did underfoot mean? What did he mean by calling her
Oh,
Arya
shit.
underfoot?
Arya underfoot. What?
like
she's
anytime,
always under your feet. She's
like
always
if Fat
there.
Tom's trying to step somewhere, he's gonna like step on her.
Like a cat that is constantly just behind you.
Yeah.
The cat
Like
is
Luke.
underfoot.
Luke's always
I
underfoot.
guess. Who called her that? The
Fat
fucking horse
Tom.
guy?
Fat Tom. Fat Tom.
I think it was Fat Tom.
Alright, never mind. Alright, let's get back.
So the second part about this was like the middle section is it's when they're talking about the wolf, like what happened at the crossroads, or what happened at the Dairy Castle, or at the Trident, wherever the fuck that was. And it's like when Ned first really realizes, like Arya first tells Ned, I guess the first time Ned realizes that like Micah was doing this because of Arya. It wasn't like a mutual thing where it's like, oh, like what should we do? And Micah's like, oh, let's go play swords. It was like Arya 100% went to Micah and was like, hey, I'm trying to practice swords. Like, will you practice with me? And he like starts realizing how much guilt she must feel for this. And again, like Kyle said, it's not her fault, but you can definitely see why a kid.
I can see why she thinks it's her fault, but it's definitely not her fault. She's got
the
child
but even
idea
here, Ned,
of like her decision and her wants and desires is what started the chain that led to him dying. But in no way did this kid need to die. Like there's
but
never
I'm
that's
saying
the biggest thing is the kid. There's no reason that they had to kill
That's what
this
I'm
kid.
saying. Yeah, nowhere along that way should he have died. So that's why it's not her fault.
He should have been like spanked in the butt.
Not even.
Ned realizes why she feels guilty here. And he's
yeah, for sure.
Like he's dealing with a lot of shit this whole time he's been in King's Landing, but he's also realizing now, like, oh fuck, like I'm not spending a lot of time with my kids here. Arya's probably going through some shit, right? Like,
yeah,
how long have they had to been here for like a month too?
We didn't realize just how yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
how impactful that was.
So then we get the thing where he says first. Well, then we hear how Arya got rid of Nymeria. They're throwing rocks at Nymeria.
Yeah, that's fucked up too.
Which is fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy that Jory let the wolf go too.
Well, I mean,
so
he's
hang on. Before we get too far, does that mean that she would have killed him or killed her after she killed Lady?
Well,
they might have been able to convince him to kill.
That's, I guess, what the question.
When they had that conversation, Robert's like leaving.
I know
that like chamber, and Cersei's like, "What about the wolf?"
Before they threw that, and
but Cersei says, "What about the wolf?" And Jory speaks up, and here we know Jory speaks up because he was part of getting Nymeria gone. He speaks up and says to Ned, like, we didn't find the wolf, your lord. And
you think that happened then?
And then that's how that happens. And then the queen says, "There's another wolf," and then that's when Sansa's like, "Oh, they mean Lady." But at first, Cersei's calling for Nymeria to be killed.
Yeah,
and it would have been killed if she was there.
Okay, so the rocks happened before the Cersei thing. Okay,
so they brought Arya back.
Yeah, and I think if Nymeria gets brought back with them, maybe Lady doesn't die. Like maybe it's just like they need to kill.
Oh yeah. No. I thought it was after. I thought they were like, we need to get rid of this wolf now that she showed back up.
No, yeah, Jory helped her get rid of it. Like when he found her.
No, you're good.
I think it might have even been his idea, right? Because he finds her. I don't know. I don't know if Arya would be smart enough as a 9-year-old to realize that Nymeria is.
I think Jory was probably like, "Yo, we gotta not."
Yeah, we should probably get rid of this wolf. Yeah. So then Ned starts
wolf
going in.
bit Joffrey, so yeah, of course, I think that's an obvious.
Jory definitely would.
We're
get
saying
that, but
we don't know about Arya.
Would Arya know that?
Got you.
So then, we get the whole lone wolf dies, pack survive thing. Next, Ned's like, "You gotta be with your family here. We gotta which is they already split up. Their pack is already split up.
Like
right?
we're gonna
Half
have
of them are
enough
up
problems
north.
soon. We can't be fighting with ourselves as well. Like we need.
It's the first time we really get the
gravity,
a little bit more in depth, winter is coming type deal.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
I think it's a good play by Ned because it's like giving Arya a sense of importance, right? It's like you are like a part of this family. You are a part of what's keeping us together here. Which is why, like the next morning, it says like the next line after the quote we just read is like the next morning Arya apologized to Septim Ordain. like
she starts acting more mature, like she promised, and everything.
yeah, like maybe she doesn't actually feel
understands
bad.
now.
Yeah, but she understands like that she's not helping the situation by behaving the way she's behaving.
Exactly.
And then she gets really. The end of it is she gets really pumped up that she gets to keep the sword. And the last quote that Ned had is, "If I take it away, I'm just gonna find a morning star under your pillow."
The one thing I had, it says like, "I don't hate Sansa, not truly," and it says it was only half
That was
a
only
lie.
half a lie. Yeah. So she
Which
kinda
one's
does
the
hate
lie?
her.
I'm so confused. Does she actually hate Sansa? I don't know.
little bit.
It doesn't matter if it's half a
Definitely
lie.
does.
If
Yeah.
it's half a lie, it doesn't matter what the lie
Well,
is.
I think which one's a lie. So I don't hate Sansa.
They're each half a lie. She does
And
hate
that's-
Sansa and doesn't hate Sansa. Is each half a lie. She half hates Sansa.
Or
There's some stuff
think-
about her she hates, for sure. Yeah, that's what it is.
Or what, Jeff?
I was just going with Glow. Like, it is half of the sentence a lie and half
That's what I think.
like.
Oh.
I don't actually.
I
Hate
think
not,
not truly is saying
Yeah, it's a double negative. It's a double negative. It doesn't
I
work.
don't truly not hate Sansa.
Yeah, it doesn't
Santa? You hate Santa?
Sansa.
I think you're. I don't know. I think it's just like there's stuff about her she hates.
Yeah,
And
I
like
know.
wishes was
Yeah, Glow doesn't know.
So
But I
the
don't
last
wish her
part of
dead.
this last part of this chapter, so she next morning she goes, says sorry, she's behaving, and then 3 days later, Van Poole, who's the steward, sends her to the small hall, which is where they were eating this morning or a couple days ago, whenever when the chapter starts, they're eating in the small hall. He sends her back there, and there's a dude waiting for her. This dude looks like a combination of Jeff and Glow.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah, but more like me.
Let's see the description of this guy. A slight man with a bald head and a great beak of a nose. So he's got
So-
Glow's head and Jeff's nose.
Yeah, but he's also got like he's more my complexion and skin tone.
Well, he's foreign. We don't know if he's like what
There's times when I look pretty foreign.
he look in the. I'll give it to you in the show. He is.
Well, you'd be foreign
darker.
to King's Landing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm definitely a Bravo.
I think you're Dornish. You got Dornish.
Yeah, you
Like,
look
yeah,
more
nah.
Dornish.
These are all words I don't understand.
Yeah, the Dornish. I don't even think they had the Dornish in the show.
I didn't watch the show.
I know it was a joke, a bad
It was
joke
a
because
bad-
they did have the Dornish. In there,
I
but
was
they
like,
just
yeah,
fucked
what
up
are you
the
talking
storyline.
about?
The whole point of me being here is not knowing these things, Nelson. Come on. This is
Good,
the first
good.
thing
What,
like,
there's
I
a-
don't know.
One
Well,
of the
not
Seven Kingdoms they just kind of ignore in the show. That was a joke,
really. Okay.
but they don't in the books. It pisses me off. So what happens with Syrio? I have this as a quote, but I don't want to bother you
You
guys
don't
to
wanna-
read it again. So why don't we just talk
All right.
about it?
Which
Kyle,
quote?
do you want to talk? Let Kyle talk about it.
Well, he finally this is Ned essentially seeing, like, she's not gonna, Septim Ordain isn't enough. Like, she is a free spirit, and she's
She's
gonna,
She's not gonna
Yeah.
conform to being a
yeah,
a
so I
lady.
mean, she can stick around, like, she's probably still gonna go to Mordain, is my guess, but,
If
like,
if
this
Arya
this is another outlet for her here.
if
like-
Arya doesn't apologize the morning after, does this
Yeah.
happen?
Yes.
Like because he says she
If
apologizes.
she doesn't start acting more mature, no, this doesn't happen.
Yeah, I think it's like
I think it happens.
I think it's like a I'll scratch your back, you scratch me to Arya and Ned, where because she says sorry and Septa is like suspicious about it, but Ned is like approving. He like nods at breakfast, right?
I think it helps. It definitely helps the cause. But what's he gonna do? Like, just let her be miserable? Like, all right, maybe a little. Maybe I give her a little bit, and then she starts acting better. It's like, all right, you really want to play a sport? I'll let you play the sport, but the moment your grades are bad, like I'm taking it away.
I get it. That makes sense. It's a good call.
Just parenting 101.
So this
Apparently.
guy's Kyle, how do you say this guy's name?
Sounds like you're getting
I
ready,
have a
Jeff.
droid. I have a droid.
You're a droid dad.
I don't know, I just heard Jeff say Sirio. I didn't remember what his name was, so.
Syrio Farrell,
Yeah.
who was for 9 years the first lord.
First
First
Lord
Lord
of-
of Bravosi.
Sea Lord of
First sword to the
Bravos.
Sea
Or
Lord of
Bravos.
Bravos.
First Sword of Bravos.
What do you think that means?
Listen to him, boy. He was he's a good sword fighter. I don't know what you, like, he was the best one in Bravos.
So what? So okay, he just won a tournament.
No, I mean
the
like
best,
he's
you're
like
the-
the top one, like the top ranking.
I'm actually not sure because they don't really go into it ever, but I assume it's kind of like the King's Guard for.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say it's
that's what
probably
I'm
or
saying.
like
He's
the guy that
top
like
one. It's like the
trains
first
everyone.
lieutenant. He didn't win a tournament to be the lieutenant. He got promoted.
Well, you just said he's the best fighter. Normally,
No,
you
no,
tell
like,
the best
he's
fighters
like-
you have a tournament. Whoever fucking wins is
Oh,
the best
God.
fighter.
No, that's
know what I
not.
mean?
That's
It's
not
an
how the
appointed
military
position.
works, Nelson.
I don't know.
I'm gonna fight all of you.
I'll save it. I'll save it for the spoiler section. That's something I was gonna say. So she comes in. He keeps calling her boy. He tosses her. What? He tosses her the sword,
Heavy ass wood sword
And-
full of lead.
and she drops it. Right?
Yeah, and he's like, tomorrow
So-
you're gonna fucking catch it.
Yeah. So she's late.
Badass
He's
line.
like,
Tomorrow
Yeah.
you will
He's like-
catch.
well, he keeps telling her tomorrow, like what you're gonna do, because she shows up late. He's like, "You're late, boy. Tomorrow you will be on time." He throws her the sword. She drops it. Tomorrow
Well,
you will catch
essentially,
it.
he's saying like this is the only day I'm gonna allow mistakes.
This is what I expect.
Yeah.
From you. Yeah, and even at the end it says the next day their real work began. So you can kind of tell they're just like messing around here. She bitches that it's too heavy. He's like,
Well, he's like, she's holding it with two hands, and he's like, it's not a great sword. Like, take off.
this
take
is
off
why
the
I
hand,
have
like,
quotes
throw it.
sometimes when we're talking about this, and all we're doing is quoting it. We might as well just fucking read it, Kyle.
Yeah,
All right,
Cal.
let's read it then.
No,
Well,
Kyle,
she's
you're
left-handed
Serial
too.
Pharrell. Kyle, you're
No.
Serial Pharrell.
first off, Jeff was the one that said it's an audiobook. So get out of here.
She's left-handed.
Do you guys not want to read the quote? We're just gonna keep doing this.
What quote are
I don't
we
want
reading?
to. We're already like
All right,
90% through it. Like, why
'cause
you?
I wanted somebody to do a Serial Pharrell accent, but fine. Yeah, so he yells at her for holding it with two hands, and he says like, basically he's just saying like, you're not learning like what you've seen, like the way people fight that you're used to. Like we're learning something different. This isn't hacking and slashing. This is more dancing. I guess it's like fencing.
No, fencing's no. It's
No,
It's just more finesse, is what I would say.
it's just not hacking and just fucking like a little bit of footwork, a little bit of quick.
It's like that Brazilian jiu-jitsu where they're dancing.
Capoeira.
Capoeira, yeah.
I don't know idea what that is, but
Look up capoeira.
Yeah, learn to spell it first though.
capybara,
It's
isn't that
not.
an animal?
Capybara is
not-
Kaporeira.
Is that a Game of Thrones word?
Yes,
No, it's a real word.
I've
So
yet to see a
then
Game
she-
of Thrones word.
So let's finish that real quick. She yells at him. He yells at her for holding it with two hands. She says it's too heavy to hold with one hand. So what if I drop it? And he's like, it needs to be.
It's your arm.
like,
You're
part
not.
of
You're not
arm.
gonna
How
drop
can-
your fucking arm. Like, get out of here. That's pretty much what he
Yeah.
says to her.
But this thing's too heavy for Arya, and he's like, it'll make you stronger. It'll be good. Then she's like, fucking stop calling me boy. He's like, boy, girl, doesn't matter. You're a sword. That's all that matters. And then she tells him it's called. I don't know. She doesn't actually say it's what the sword's called, but he's like, you're not holding a battle axe. You're holding it, and she says needle, and he's like, just so.
A
And then, again,
needle.
like,
It's only.
and then basically he's just like, hit me, like try and hit me, and it says she tries to for hours until her whole body was sore.
Isn't it 4? Right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, for 4 hours. Yep, she tried for 4 hours until every muscle in her body was aching. And then the next day, the real work began. So, I think this is not only. I think it's like what Jeff said, and it's kind of like your parents want you, if you want to play sports, and like your parents maybe have never let you do it before, but then your dog dies. Right, and it's like, obviously Micah's not a dog, but I think it's
Somebody
kind of like
cuts your dog in half and gives it back to its dad in a bag.
I think it's like when the kid has like a traumatic experience, like you want to like lighten their mood, like get their mind off of it. I think this is Ned's way of doing that.
You get him another dog.
Yeah, and like she's far away from home, and she's
Get him
just
another
nothing's
friends.
going on here, and she's
Yeah.
just gonna keep acting out, and he knows that she needs to channel her energy.
It's like if her dog died and then she moved. It's like if you're a kid and your dog dies.
Her
and then
dog's
you
still
move to a
alive.
new city.
She threw rocks at her dog. That's what she did.
I'm talking about Micah.
Well, he's a person.
This is a metaphor. It's like if you're a little kid in today's age and you want to play football and your dad's like, you can't play
Yeah,
football.
and your
it's too
best friend
dangerous,
just
blah, 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 blah,
died.
blah. And then your dog dies.
can't it be
and
your
then your
friend?
dad gets a new job in a new city.
What is?
I guess it could be your friend.
Then you can try out for the soccer team, and that was an awful fucking metaphor.
It was your metaphor. I just added a little teddy piece.
Come on,
All right,
Nelson.
fuck this. Fuck you guys. Good thoughts on the chapter, Kyle?
I thought it was good.
Before I get you the fuck out of here.
Thought it was a solid chapter.
I mean, this was probably the most excited Kyle was after reading. He was like, "Oh, great chapter." I feel like you haven't done that.
I feel like this was a pretty nothing happened chapter.
Yeah, well, it's not your fucking opinion that we're asking.
No, I thought it was good because,
Kyle.
I mean, if they get humanized Ned a little, it also
it tugs on the heartstrings.
no, I'm not worried about that. I think it's cool that Arya is. I guess that's. She's finally allowed to be herself. I guess I'll leave it at that. Seems like.
So what do you know?
So I mean, I know she becomes
As we're about to get into the spoiler sections, we're gonna have Kyle drop some minor show spoilers here. So what do you know about Arya?
Well, I know she becomes pretty awesome, and kills everybody, or at least is an assassin kind of person. So I do know that she continues down this path and is good at it.
All right, so let's see if we can get the first good prediction you ever made on this podcast. Prediction about what happens next with Arya.
She's gonna stab Joffrey. No, that's fine.
I like that.
She's gonna win the tournament.
Arya do the tournament
and become the first Sword of King's Landing by winning the tournament.
She becomes fucking filthy rich.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I guess this is what's gonna happen next for her. She's gonna continue to have to do both. Is what I'd say. Is try and play both sides of what's expected of her, and also kind of keep this other part.
Like lady during the day, and then moonlighting as
freak in the sheets.
Sword fighter.
No, that's not what you said.
Lady in the street, but a freak in the sheets.
She's more Jeff's age.
Speaking of, our next chapter is Daenerys,
Yeah.
which is Jeff's getting all.
I forget who I was talking to.
Jeff's already got a better.
It was Aaron. You've played Xbox with Aaron Nelson.
Yeah.
He's like, I listened to one where somebody tried to defend Drago having sex with a 13-year-old.
Aaron was listening to this to our podcast.
I was like, oh god.
Sounds
That's the one you listened to? Yeah, no, I know.
That's what we're the creepiest podcast on the internet, baby.
We're the best.
We're not thinking of a 13-year-old girl when we think about it. We're thinking of Emilia Clarke. I will continue to defend this.
When you say we, you mean you.
Yeah,
the rest of us are thinking of a 13-year-old. All right.
And that's the weirder part.
I'm tired of getting yelled at by Kyle, so let's get him out of here and go into the spoiler section.
What am I yelling at you?
See you later, Kyle. I hope you feel better, bud.
Thanks. Later, guys.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
See you, Kyle. It's great hanging out, bud. Hope you feel better, dude.
See you next week.
Guy.
And now on to the spoiler section of Arya 2 and Game of Thrones. Guys, what are your hot takes on this spoiler section here?
One thing, I don't even know if Kyle was really being a bitch to me or not. Or I just, for some reason, he was pissing me off in the first part of this episode. So I'm gonna jump right in with something that he said that was super stupid in one of the previous episodes that I forgot to bring up in the spoiler section. I actually have a clip of it from when I was editing that, and then I'm gonna put it in here. So I'll put that in right after.
I want to hear it. Can I hear it?
Is there any way for you to play it for us?
I don't think so. But basically, it was the episode where Ned talks to Kat, where Ned goes to see Kat at the fucking Littlefinger's brothel, and he's like, "Tell me why this was so stupid." What he said. He said, "I can't believe they're so dumb that they told Littlefinger about Jon Arryn thinking Jon Arryn died, like about the Jon Arryn Lannister death." He's like, "I can't believe they told Littlefinger that." He said that. He's like, "I can't believe that they would tell Littlefinger about that."
I was gonna say, I thought it was pretty stupid of them to tell Littlefinger about Lord Arryn.
About that they think that the Lannisters killed him.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I think that's the dumbest thing that could have happened.
What's super ironic about that statement?
Yeah, but it's not stupid on him. It's
it's a good comment by him, but it's stupid in hindsight.
Well,
Why?
Because Littlefinger killed him.
Because Littlefinger sent the letter. Yeah. Littlefinger killed him and sent the letter. To Catelyn. It's not stupid. Shut up, Glow. Shut the fuck up, Glow. Now you're pissing me off, too.
I think it's good.
Now you're pissing me off, too.
That's good analyzation about him. Like, yeah, that is stupid of him to bring it up to him. The guy that fucking killed him.
Littlefinger's the one who fucking told Cat.
Yeah.
Littlefinger sends a letter to Cat, and then Cat tells Littlefinger, and Littlefinger's like, what? Whoa, crazy. And Kyle's like, such a stupid. I'm just saying, he has no idea. He has no idea that Littlefinger sent that letter. Stupid.
He does have zero clue what's going on.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Alright, so fuck, you guys Glow ruined that for me. This is the worst episode ever. What do you guys have? Glow, what do you got in this spoiler section?
Wow, man, you're so just upset, Nelson. I've never seen you this just down on yourself.
I need whiskey. This beer's not cutting it. Glow, talk about spoilers, so I'm going to get some whiskey.
Well, Jeff, you said you had some shit. I mean, I gotta...
Yeah, let me break my book out. It's just like little lines where I think is like a line that he brings up for a reason, you know what I mean? Like, I would hate to have to go read through the whole fucking chapter again.
No, you don't have to.
This is what happens if you take a note or two, Jeff.
I know. I should just like fucking highlight this shit.
Let's have me and Glow go over it.
Nelson, this part you'll like because you like to think that Jon is not not Daenerys, Lyanna's kid.
Yeah.
So Jon and Arya are super close. Like, they love each other very much, whatever. And in his original storyline, his outline, whatever, George R.R. Martin's, he had, like, Arya falling in love with Jon.
Really?
Whatever. Yeah, you never read the, like, original timeline? Or his outline? It, like, she, like, loves Jon. Tyrion actually...
Like in a Jaime Cersei way?
Yeah. And, like, Tyrion loves Arya. It's like a weird love triangle.
That's so how does that even... That's so weird to me. Just
I can't
because,
believe you
like,
never read this.
I never read that, but it's so weird because, like, Tyrion and Arya have, like, no interaction at all.
I know. So, like, in his original outline, like, his first one that he put to, like, publishers or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like...
That's crazy.
Arya loves Jon.
So how does that have anything to do with Lyanna?
If Jon is not Ashara, or is not Lyanna's kid, they could actually get together. You know what I mean?
Oh, if he's Dany or Rhaegar, what do I think? Fuck.
You think?
I think Dany is okay. Well, no, because I think Jon is a Stark.
Oh, okay.
Most people think he's not, right? Or he thinks he's Lyanna.
You think he's Ned and Ashara? So.
I think he's either Ned and Ashara or Brandon and Ashara.
Oh, that's right, Brandon and Ashara. Yeah. That makes sense. Never mind. They can't even. Yeah,
still can't. Whatever. I mean, it didn't stop Cersei and Jaime.
That's true.
So also the first thing I have for Lyanna is it's just the whole comparison between Arya and Lyanna and the wolf's they have like the wolf's blood in you.
Yeah, I mean, what's the just?
Does
like,
that mean anything about? It just seems like that has something to do with warging. You have the wolf's blood in you.
That was all right. So that was one of the things. Like
you had a connection.
I don't think that's
this is one of the things I said. No, I don't. Maybe. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. I think it's just saying like, we're a wolf, like wolves will attack and shit like that. And
the whole in this theory has to do with Bran, because Bran is younger than Arya and doesn't have this effect. But
yeah, all right. Well,
what I was thinking was, but the thing about the effect Shaggy Dog has on Rickon, like how. It seems like the younger the child is, the more the effect the animal has on the person.
Okay.
And the real proof of that is Rickon. Rickon becomes like a total crazy kid when Shaggy Dog starts going crazy.
Yeah.
Bran doesn't really have a similar effect at all, so it's kind of hard to tell. But Arya maybe is like. And I guess it doesn't make sense because Arya is known to be like willful and like a tomboy before the wolves.
Or the dog. I think the wolf takes the personality of their master. So like Arya is very like doesn't listen.
I agree, but I think it's a both. It goes both ways, right? You agree with that? Not
feel
so
like
much.
It's
a
more.
lot
I think
of-
it's more the person than.
I
the
think it's
wolf.
more the person, and depending on age. The younger the person,
the more
the
influence
wolf.
they could be.
Yeah, the more influence they can be. Which doesn't make Bran is the exception, right? But it seems like Rickon 100% has that. Arya might have that. I don't know. Maybe that's just nothing.
I mean,
but when having the wolf
Rickon
split in you,
also didn't have all the structure that all the other family members had.
that's true. His parents were gone
Freaking
for his whole
parents are
time.
killed.
Yeah.
He's on the run the whole time. He's still like what, 4, 5?
You're right, but I think you'll agree with me once we get into it. Like he acts like a fucking menace in like some of the later books. He's just crazy. Like doesn't listen to anybody. I don't know. Maybe
Alright,
I'm
He's
wrong.
like 4. He's 4 years old.
Moving on. One of the things I had was when Arya's talking about John, and they were talking about like she wants him to call her little sister, and like they go back and finish each other's sentences off. Like it just like, not that I think it's anything at all, or if it means, but it's just like a little connection between the two of them. Like, is there even deeper than the wolves? Do they have like something family member wise? If they are even family, like are they connected? But it's just like, maybe that's something, pulling at
That
big old strings there. But
that'd be sweet. And then there is a couple. I think it happens. It might only happen once in the books that are out, but I think it happens once in the Winds of Winter chapters too.
I didn't even read those yet.
Where it happens in the chapter with John in the beginning of Dance, when the chapter starts as Ghost perspective. You know how like sometimes a chapter will start as the perspective of the wolf, and you don't really
Yeah.
understand what's going on.
Right.
Yeah, they're like running.
Because they're smelling it, and they got the taste of blood. And...
Yeah. Well, there's one where John does that. Like the chapter starts off with as Ghost, and he says like he can sense all his other siblings. He's like he can
Right.
sense one of them like near where Bran is, and he can sense one of them like on Skagos, which is
Yeah.
probably Rickon at that point by the time we get to Dance with Dragons, right? So like I can see what you're saying, how they have a connection, but I bet you if they have a connection at this point, it's
because of the
through
wolves.
like Arya to Nymeria, go to Ghost to John. I don't think it's straight to Arya to John. But I don't know. They again, like some of this stuff seems to be like rooted before the wolves even were there, right? Like
Right,
Arya
right.
John was her
They
favorite
had their
before the
relationship
wolves. Yeah.
before then, so that was just one. That was just one thing that I remember. It was just that little bit of talking, like
This is so I have another line. It's really short, but it's super. I thought it was like it really stuck out to me when I read it, and it's something Ned said, and it's when, the quote is and it's one of the ones we read. I hate them. Arya confided, red-faced and sniffling. The Hound and the Queen and the King and Prince Joffrey. I hate them all. Joffrey lied. It wasn't the way he said. I hate Sansa too. She did remember. She just lied so Joffrey would like her. We all lie, her father said. We all lie?
Yeah.
When the fuck does Ned lie?
Well, that's also. I have a quote here too, and he brings up the same thing. He says, "The lie was not without honor."
so
exactly.
You can lie if it's for a good purpose.
Well, Ned never lies though. Like
he
Ned
lied.
is like
He didn't lie, but he didn't tell all the truth to John about the wall.
that's true, but like think about
It's not
Think
without
about it-
honor, dude.
this makes me think about at the end of
He
the
didn't
show.
bang no tavern wench.
What about at the end of the show when they have the meeting in the dragon pit and Cersei is like, I will help you guys if you promise not to take Dany's side when this is all over.
Yeah.
What does John say?
Yes.
No.
He says
Oh,
no.
yeah,
he
he
says,
should've-
"No, I can't.
he
I'm
should've
already
Yeah.
I've
pledged
already
to
bent the knee
Daenerys."
to her. Yeah. And what happens after Cersei leaves? Cersei's like, all right, fuck you guys then. You're on your own. She dips, and everyone is like Cersei, Dany, Tyrion, they're all like, John, what the fuck's wrong with you? Lie one time.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's not like how we do it. That's not how me and my boy Ned do it. You know what I mean? But Ned, we know Ned had a lie, right? Ned's lying about John.
Yeah, but I don't
Ned's
think...
probably lying about John.
No, yeah, so that's right, but I don't think Ned lies in this situation either. I think him and John are very similar moral-wise, and I don't think Ned lies in this situation either.
I agree, and that's why I brought it up, because you said you can lie if it's honorable.
I didn't say that. Jeff said that.
I know, but you're pointing out.
Ned said it's.
I'm saying
not
that would
without
be
honor.
That would be a spot that's kind of with honor, right? If John lies there, that's with honor. Because think about it, John doesn't lie. what do they think is going to happen? They think the fucking zombies are going to kill everybody, right? If John does lie, sure, he lied. At least he saved some people. You know what I mean? That's honorable. Right? Either the White Walkers kill everybody or he gets Cersei's force and they maybe stop him. I don't know. I feel like...
Let's not... I guess that was not... Was that season 8?
Yeah.
That's season 7.
Season 7 finale.
It's the very end, yeah.
Whenever I go back to think of those times, I just think about how good Amelia Clark looked as. That's all I'm worried about.
When she wasn't 13.
She wasn't 13.
I have to rewatch the series now, man. I haven't watched it in a while.
I have had no... used to rewatch that like twice a year, the entire thing.
Yeah, man. I haven't
just had
rewatched it since.
I've just had no interest ever since season 8. Fucking David and Dan ruined everything.
The first couple seasons are great. I don't hate it either. I gotta rewatch it.
But it's just like, it's not as interesting to watch. Like, again, like the joy, a lot of the joy of this is not knowing what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And when you know, it's like, especially when you know like where it ends in this one, Jeff's favorite character's dead. Like, what's the point? Like, you're going to watch Dany's scenes and
I'm going to watch up
dies.
I'm going to watch up till the point she goes crazy.
Yeah.
Or maybe when you kind of like see her like side boob.
I saw a bunch of I saw a meme the other day. It was a picture of like a woman's shirt that said "Mother of Dragons," and it was like, this used to be my favorite shirt until dumbass and dumber, or like dumbass and dipwit made Daenerys Hitler, and now I walk around like and get looks like I'm a fucking serial killer when I wear this thing. Which is a good point, but it's even worse for the people who like name their kids like Daenerys and Khaleesi and shit.
Yeah. I'm not gonna hold back.
Well, at the same time, it's most likely going to happen in the books.
Yeah. I mean, but in the books it'll be better, maybe. See.
I mean, she did put, 119 people in crosses or something like that?
Yeah, if they deserved it.
Another point I have here is when they're talking about the wildness in Arya, and Jon talks about, or not Jon, Eddard talks about an early grave for people with wildness in them. Do you think Arya is going to have an early grave?
I feel like Arya's already made it. I feel like Arya's already made it too far to, even if she dies, chapter 1 wins a winner, 2 that'd be considered an early grave. I mean, I guess she's still in 11 at that point, but is that what you mean? Just like early in life?
Early in life. So under 18 at the end of this book series, she's dead.
I hope that
do you think she's dead at the end of the series? This is basically what I'm saying.
I like that question, and my answer is depending on if the Hound comes back. Because I think if the Hound has the same conversation with her that he had in the show, where he's like, you don't want to end up like me, like, look at what's driven me my entire life is revenge, you don't want to be like this, like, it's no way to live. If that, I could see that happening in the books. If that happens, then I feel like that's, maybe he puts Arya on the right path. But yeah, I think if she stays where she's at, she's definitely dying, right? There's no way.
Mm-hmm. Great answer, Nelson. Love it. What about you, Jeff? Do you think Arya is going to die by the end of the book series?
Absolutely not. Because she's way too cool of a character. I mean, I guess George R.R. Martin's all about killing him. Yeah, she probably dies. Like, hopefully she dies in a way, like when we did our whole death pool thing, like she dies saving the Hound, or like she dies doing something cool as shit. Like, not stabbing the Night King. Hopefully she dies, I don't know, doing something like that. Yeah, she probably dies. Because like, I'll tell you what, she doesn't go sailing fucking west. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That was never even mentioned in the books.
Being like a badass knight in the Seven Kingdoms and like being the runner of a house, or she's doing something a lot cooler than just fucking leaving on a boat.
You know what would be sick is if she takes somebody's face and just lives out the rest of her life as somebody else. Like unknown.
That's horrible. That sucks.
What if it was somebody cool?
I could see Danny traveling Essos and all that shit.
What if Jon doesn't come back alive, but instead Arya goes to the wall, cuts off his face, and then is Jon for the rest of the books? That'd be dope.
I love it. I hate it, but I love it.
I don't think the timeline is set up for that to happen, considering like Arya's like still in the middle of her training, but that would be sick. All right, I don't have much else for this chapter. I don't think.
Last thing from your boy Glow.
All right, let's hit it.
Nelson, you told me to watch out for the word sweet.
Yeah, what we got?
So 3 times Sweet was brought up in this chapter.
Sweet girl. Sweet girl, sweet girl.
Sweet girl twice, and they also brought up the pumpkin soup that was sweet. So I think
What was
that
Cereal Pharrell?
no. So sweet pumpkin soup doesn't matter. That
Yeah.
sweet was the first time I've ever seen it not matter in this whole series.
Who calls her sweet girl?
Ned.
Oh,
does.
Ned
Ned.
calls her sweet girl twice, and so what I've always been saying, George R. R. Martin uses sweet to cover up, cover up dirtiness.
Berries was as
Varys
sweet,
was sweet.
and sour as flowers on a grave or something, right?
Yeah, and who's the fat guy?
Illyrio.
Illyrio, whatever. He had a sweet smell to him, and he always was scheming. Arya, Ned calls her sweet twice, and she is going to become like a kind of a murderer,
Yeah.
hired killer type of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't it weird how it's just like random italicized words?
The italicized do get me. What's italicized in this chapter?
Like,
Needle.
I
Needle.
hate all of them. Joffrey lied. It wasn't the way he said. Like, lied was italicized. Like, why did that need to be italicized?
I think it was just the way she was talking. He lied.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's like for like a pronunciation
Right, I would say
thing.
that, but then sometimes it's like a random word's capitalized and italicized.
And it's like sometimes not in a quote. It's like when it's like a personal thought to yourself.
Right.
I don't know.
It's just
It is. I've thought about that too, but I don't know.
I think it's
What-
just
maybe-
emphasis most of the time.
Maybe if you go through and take and only read the italicized words in the entire book, it's like a hidden story.
That's how like the chapters are.
I mean,
There's some chapters in the book that have like different names in the character. So like
yeah.
and
pe-
like
the theory for
there's
that
supposed to be a
is-
hidden meaning behind that, and like
Well, the theory for that.
Martin confirmed it.
What most people think about that is it's when somebody like loses their identity, right? Like Theon becomes Reek as soon as he's actually like as soon as he doesn't think of himself as Reek anymore. Sansa becomes Elaine when she's pretending to be Elaine. Like there's chapters where Sansa is pretending to be Elaine that are called Sansa because like she thinks of herself as Sansa and that kind of stuff. But any chapter that's like titled Elaine, and they might not even have any in the ones that are out, but there's some in the Winds of Winter. In those chapters, like when she thinks of herself, she thinks of like Littlefinger. Like she's like, my father was blah 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 blah, but she's talking about Littlefinger. Like even internally, like she's 100% this person now, right? Arya becomes Mercy. She becomes the ugly little girl.
But there's also like
Ares Oakhart is the sperm. His chapter is something weird. He's like the sperm,
yeah,
the
Ares
White Knight or
Oakhart,
something.
there's a bunch of different names for
The
chapters.
Queenmaker. But yeah, but
Yeah.
they revert
Huh.
back. Like Theon, the first chapter in Winds of Winter is Theon. It's not Reek anymore because like Theon is no longer Reek. He's like he has escaped.
what did
Winterfell.
Theon do at the end of?
He
Winds-
escapes Winterfell. He jumps off the ledge
With-
with
But that's
Jean.
it, right? They don't actually run away; they just jump.
He gets captured. Stannis has him at the beginning of Winds of Winter. So like,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't read Winter Winter yet.
but he's like he's not Reek anymore, right? He's past that. Like I think Victarion Greyjoy has the same thing. He's like the Iron Captain or something like that when he like isn't sure about like if he's gonna be king or not. But when he realizes his place, like all that changes.
Right.
So people think it's like when you like I don't know,
Disassociate.
disassociate and then you get your name back. Like people think it's like a big part when you get your name back. Like I think Tyrion had a few chapters where he wasn't Tyrion, right? Then he becomes Tyrion again. I don't
What, when
know.
he was on like the ship?
Yeah, when he's YOLO or YOLO, also great name. Was YOLO a thing when he wrote that? Like
Couldn't have been
who made up YOLO?
What
Drake?
book was it?
Drake.
What book was it?
4?
Nah, 4 was
no,
probably
5,
like 08
5,
and YOLO
5.
wasn't out. 5 was 11, so it could have been out.
Well, he wrote 4 and 5 at the same time, so.
So it probably wasn't out.
All right. I don't have anything else. Either you guys.
No, I don't think there's much other than like Arya's gonna become a assassin.
Badass bitch.
I mean, the weird thing about Needle is that she lose Needle for an extended period of time.
Yeah, she does. After she gets captured and goes to Harrenhal, Polliver takes it.
Right.
Yeah, Polliver.
And then she
So.
gets it back when she kills Polliver with the Hound.
That's interesting.
So not much for this chapter. Next chapter, for spoilers at least. Next chapter we got Danny. So I feel like that's probably going to be kind of spoiler heavy. I feel like Danny is really spoiler heavy. She's going to be having weird dreams and shit. Jeff loves dreams.
I just love Danny too.
So we'll get into that one next time. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Don't forget
Follow us
to
on.
share, like, and subscribe, motherfuckers.
What's our Twitter handle, Jeff?
Spotify,
At Morning
Twitter, everything.
At
hit us up.
mthroners, I think.
At what?
Hold on, let me make sure.
If you tweet at us this week, Jeff will record you a personalized answering machine that you can put as your answering machine.
At capital M, capital T, Throners. At M Throners. If you
Hell yeah, brothers.
just tweet at us, Nelson will Venmo you $5.
There you go, Nelson. Love it. All right, the night is dark and full of
I will
terrors.
Venmo the first person who tweets at us $5. Just the first.
All right, Alley Superpowers, you got a great shot at me.
Hey, we're getting views, boys. We're getting views, boys. All right. We'll see everyone later.
See ya.